here, your thrifty of friends, and welcome back to the channel's version of a crafty corner. I recently had a viewer who requested to see in detail, how I create sewn journals. And there was an ironic request at the time because I happened to be in the process of making these sewn covered notebooks to list on the Etsy shop. So I figured since I had one more to make, what I would do was make that and show how it could be an art journal, because we all know whether or not it's an art journal or a junk journal really boils down to the type of papers that you bind it with. Since this was a sewn project, I figured it would be the perfect project to kind of fulfill that request. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now here I already have 4 that I've made prior to shooting this video. We're going to take a closer look at these at the end of the video, but for right now, let's go over the supply list. Now, it is my plan to break this video up into several sections. This will be a real-time video because I am trying to show detail on construction and how I do everything. So I hope you guys are ready. Buckle in, and we're going to look at the supplies that we'll need for the cover. I tried to keep this really simple, really straightforward. I wanted to think of what an artist or a crafter might have around their studio or their house already without the need to go and purchase supplies to create this. So we're going to start. I'm using for my inside of the cover a green piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This is just a regular weight cardstock. If I'm not mistaken, this is Part Lane cardstock from Joann's. So just using a regular piece of cardstock, again 8.5 by 11, because that's the size of our base. So your base and your inside cover are going to be the same size. To cover the base, I'm going to be using this sunflower placemat. Now, I picked this up from my local Dollar Tree for a buck back doing a Dollar Tree haul. I had it sitting around studio, figured it was time to put it to good use. This would be a great project, so we're going to be using that. And for the cover, fabric covering, and for the base, I'm going to be using a piece of 8.5 by 11 chipboard. Now, chipboard is pretty easy to come by. I don't suggest that you order it. I'm more than sure you have an empty cereal box, or will come across an empty cereal box. That'll work great. The little cardboard that's inside men's dress shirts, when you pick them up from the dry cleaners, that would work great. The bottom of the box that a cake comes in, that would work great. So anything of that weight, a little bit thicker than chipboard, a little bit thicker than regular cardstock, but with a little flexibility. I would even say you could use Bristol board and cut it down to 8.5 by 11, or whatever size you want to make it, because you don't have to make this exactly like I do. I just want you to get the idea so that you can run with it and do what you will. Now, fabric type doesn't matter. I do suggest that maybe not a clear fabric, because we are going to be gluing as well as sewing. So I wouldn't want the glue to really seep through. However, I will show you methods that I use to keep the glue thin. That way it won't, or it'll have a less likely chance of seeping through the fabric. All right, with that said, the piece of fabric that you choose, you want to have it, if you're choosing 8.5 by 11, you would have your fabric 10.5 by 13, because the point is to give the base an inch of allowance around each side to be folded in. So whatever size you decide to choose for your base, you want your inside cover to be the exact same size, and you want to cut the fabric that you choose 2 inches bigger on each side, because that'll give you an inch of allowance per side. I know if you're not used to doing the math, that's why I'm doing it for you. Just keep in mind, whatever size you choose your base, you want to add 2 inches to each side. So your fabric would be 2 inches bigger on each side. That is going to give you 1 inch of seam allowance. 1 inch of allowance. I'm sorry, we're not sewing fabric. We're not making a dress. 1 inch of allowance around each side. Let's break into doing the cover now. I found a little piece of muslin. I'm thinking about using it to make a book plate. I think it kind of brings out the highlights and the fabric with the sunflowers. We'll see about that in a moment though. So here I took, well, this is just 2 pieces of printer paper that I taped together in order to protect my disc. Here I have the placemat all cut out to be the size that we needed it to be, which was 10.5 by 13. Just wanted to get it square. And I did try to cut it so that the bigger sunflower here would end up on the front of my journal. Don't know if that's going to happen, but that's what I'm aiming for. Now, what I did was to take the base, lay it onto the fabric. I traced it. Then I took a clear ruler, and from that tracing line, gave myself half, well, in this case, half an inch. Now, I originally said an inch, but as I was trying to position the base to get this sunflower on the front, I didn't really have a lot of fabric left at the top, and it wasn't going to give me an inch. So I just reduced it to half an inch. But remember, I told you that range, half an inch to an inch, is moderately enough to do the wrapping that you need and still have enough fabric. So that's what we're going to be doing. I think that's right. I think I put that right. Yes, I put that right. Okay. So that's going to give me half an inch on both sides. To adhere it together, I am going to be using Scotch Create glue stick. This is a permanent wrinkle-free glue stick. It has a much thicker consistency than the Elmer's Craft Bond Extra Strength glue stick that I normally use. I believe this one has a little bit more tack to it as well. And we're also going to be using Fabri-Tac, which, give me just a second, let me grab that. We're going to be using Fabri-Tac, which is by the Beacon Company. Fabri-Tac or Fabri-Fix, pretty much the same thing. Fabric to fabric, paper to paper, paper to fabric. It's really great. It's almost like a cold hot glue. Yeah, basically. So what I want to do is adhere these together, and I'm hoping and praying that this is going to glide on and not show up, because some glues will seep through, and when they dry they kind of show in the front of the fabric. That's the reason I kind of wanted to use this one, because it dries clear. It's wrinkle free. I'm not sure if it's water-based, being wrinkled free. I'm not quite sure how it could be water-based. I'm not sure. I don't want to speak on it. All I know is that it advertises as being wrinkle free. So we're going to try this. It is so much thicker than putting on like regular glue stick though. I'm going to try to work fast, since we're keeping this real time, and these journals do take a minute to construct. I mean, you definitely want to make something that's going to last. And since the viewer did request detail, I'm not going to do any cut scenes or edits to it. So let's get them moving, right? Okay, so that should be enough to at least hold it down. I'm going to put another type. I'm going to go ahead and put some of my Elmer's under as well. That glue has a bit of a scent to it. Now this is a wet glue. My hope is that we won't have any seepage. I don't think we will. Not with the glue sticks anyway. All right. It doesn't really matter. I'm just doing all of this for extra gill. We're going to be sewing. This is a sewn journal, so I'm just going to bring my cover back in, and we are going to flip this and try to get it centered. I got excess glue there on the end. I'm just going to wipe that off. Is that in the frame? Let's see. All right, and we want to put this here. And it really catches quickly, so I'm trying to scooch it over just a little. Yeah, that's an official word, scooch. Okay, I might just have to work with that. I really did want it lined up though because of the sunflower on the front. I'm just gonna work this into place. Let me see. All right, yeah, I think that's good. Okay, we're just gonna make sure that that's pressed down. I think this is gonna be so nice. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece of fabric. Sunflowers are my favorite flower. Green is my favorite color. Yes. Dolphins are my favorite water animals. Panthers are my favorite land animals. Peacocks are my favorite birds. Just a little FYI. All right. Let's see. I think I need, just to be on the safe side. Pardon the noise, pardon the noise. I am just gonna make sure that that is really stuck down there. We'll flip it over. All right, so now what I want to do is glue all the sides in. We're gonna wrap the base, okay? So now we're gonna pull in the good old Fabri-Tac because we want something that is definitely gonna hold and be strong. So first I'm just gonna glue the corners in. Gonna hug those. That glue strings just like hot glue does. So don't get it twisted. Just gonna rub that corner in, hold it down, give it time to adhere. And we'll do the other ends. And none of this will be seen. It'll all still be held together by sewing for extra strength. All right. I feel like I'm moving slow. I do. I feel like I'm moving slow. I feel like I need to speed it up. Okay. So now what I want to do is to glue down all four sides. So I'm going to just put glue going down here. We want just enough to hold. We'll go around all four sides. You can be generous with the glue. Like I said, if it seeps through the fabric at this point, that's okay, because this is going to be encased. All right, so there we go. And at this point, I want to also start thinking about a closure. So I'll start in the middle with one end and hold it down. And then I'm just gonna hold it down all the way over to my corner. Now, if it gets gluey, it's okay. I have glue everywhere at the moment. I'm not gonna really worry about it though. As long as I don't get the front of it gluey, I'm good. But that just means it'll be that much more strong, and I'm okay with that. Let's clean them corners up. All right. It don't act like it doesn't want to hold, so we're gonna give it a second to set. Go down here and get this corner a second to set. Grab any stragglers in the middle. All right. See if I can roll some of that glue off my hand right quick. And we'll turn it and we'll do the same thing. You start in the middle, hold it, take it all the way down. If my corners overlap, that's fine. I mean, I always think that I'm not really worried about that particular point. I can do book corners. There's so many different things I can do if I feel like it's not appealing. So I really never worry about whether or not the fabric overlaps, not unless it's just excessive overlapping. Then I'll trim some of it back. Okay, here we go. Doing this side. Is there any glue there? It looks like it's barely any glue there considering what's on the rest of it. Let's put a little bit more glue there. And there. Yep. Stringy glue. But it is such a wonderful, wonderful glue to use. It holds things amazingly, and it lasts with that hold. It's truly a permanent hold. So I do like it. Now, I do use water-based glues. I use PVA glue for making my faux papers and for doing collages. So I still find PVA glue very useful. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically just school glue. It's wonderful for collaging. Now, one day we'll make some faux papers where I'll show you guys my little glue formula for making those type of papers. We'll get around to that too. All right, last side. Okay. All right. I think that's gonna do it. That's gonna be good. And I'm not worried about the little strings and stragglers in the middle. I mean, if you have them on your fabric, please feel free to cut them off. You can use pinking shears to cut your fabric out when you're doing your allowance. That way you don't have to worry about that. Just like you would do if you were sewing, right? Concept almost the same if you was just doing basic simple sewing project, which is exactly what this actually is. Like I said, I'm not really worried about the glue, and I really want the strength, so kind of happy about the excess glue, truth be told. All right, so let's flip this bad boy over and see what we got. There we go. That's how that looks covered, and that's gonna be folded in half. So I think I want to adhere the inside first, sew around the entire journal, which since we're doing detail, I'm gonna take you over to the sewing machine and show you the sewing as well. Let's move on to our inside cover. Guys, I'm not sure if I've been staying in frame. If I haven't, I apologize, and I would definitely try to do a better job of that moving forward. So I think I want to snip out just a few of these strings, if I can get up under them. I don't necessarily want to cut the fabric, I just want to snip off a few of these extra little doodads and giggle my bobs here. Okay. think we got that. Very good. I'm just gonna dust that off. I'm gonna vacuum because there's actually carpet in here. Yes, I know. But that's what came in the rental that we're in. So, all right. I know I'm off camera, guys. I'm just snipping a few more of those little strings off just to get a little bit better control there. Okay, so now what I want to do is grab that same Scott Create, and we're going to cover the inside of, and we're going to kind of grab just the edge of that fabric, just the edge of it, because you don't want glue showing on the edges, right? So I'm just going to cover this with glue. And yeah, we'll use 2 here as well. Go. Just make sure we got it around the fabric there. This glue is so tacky and thick. I think I really like this glue. I really do. And it seems to work well on fabric because it grabbed the fabric really well and really quickly. Have to keep an eye on that glue. Okay, I'm gonna cover it with my Aram's Craft Bond. This is my good old workhorse here. This is my normal glue stick. I think it holds pretty well. For most purposes, I typically only use a glue stick when I'm gonna sew, just to tack something on until I get to the sewing machine, basically. All right, so now I'm gonna set that to the side for a second, and I'm going to grab the cardstock that I'm using to cover the inside. I'm gonna grab some Fabrifix. Now you don't have to do nearly as much gluing as I mean. I'll be honest. I get a little excessive, and I do it because I want to make sure that all the journals I make are put together really well, that they're not going to fall apart, that myself or whomever is going to be using them can do so securely, knowing that they don't have to worry about the book that they are using coming apart on them. So if it seems like I glue too much, knowing that I'm gonna sew, that's why. And plus, that's my business. You do yours how you want to do yours, definitely. Yes, indeed. That's what Tabitha Brown said, baby. Tabitha Brown said, that's my business. I love her. All right, so I just smoothed that down so that I wouldn't have any glue gushing out the side. I'm gonna bring this in, and then we are going to try to line this up. Let's see if we can get that. We got a few seconds that we can move it around. Let's see if we can get it on there pretty straight. All right, that looks good. And then I'm gonna press that down. Give it a real good press. It might not be exactly even, but as long as it's not sticking over my edges, I'm good. All right, what did I do with the pressing card? Okay, so let's press it here really quickly. We're gonna be sewing, so don't panic too much. Now, if you're gluing and you're not sewing, then yes, you definitely want to make sure that you use plenty of glue, and that you get your edges really good. Really good. Like super good. All right. That's good. I'm gonna go ahead and fold that. Now, we're just gonna go ahead and bend that in. And you're gonna fold it over, let it meet. I'm going ahead and doing this while that glue on the inside is still wet. I don't want any issues folding this later on. Let me make sure that's even. I'm just making sure that my edges are even. I'm holding them, and then I'm gonna press down the middle and on either side. I'm gonna check that. Okay, we're good there. See if we can get that crease down good. Check us. Are we straight? Let's see. I'm gonna grab these scissors I have sitting here since I don't have my bone folder. And make sure that that's straight now. I'm just gonna work that into place. Because it is like 2 good piece of chipboard, cardstock, and fabric. So I'm gonna work that into place, and then I'm gonna use my bone folder to just get it a real good, well, not bone folder, but scissors, to get it a real good press. And look at that. That's not bad. I got that sunflower pretty much where I wanted it. Nice. And that's gonna be the inside. So now what we're gonna do is gonna open it up. I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew all around. So I'm gonna move you guys over to the sewing machine and let you see how we get this done. So I think I have you guys where you can see, hopefully, my sewing machine is on the other side of the studio. So I had to, you know, get this figured out. So here is our cover, right? And this is what we want as the front. And this is going to be the back. So I'm actually going to start stitching from the inside on the back corner. And I'm doing that because my machine sews, so the top stitch, or the stitch that's coming out of the needle, is actually the bottom stitch to the combination. So let's see here. Let me just get this centered the right way. And we're going to sew from the inside. And you can give it as much of a seam as you want. I have a piece of tape on my sewing machine to show me the trick. I picked it up from my fashion design days when I was in design school. So this may be a little loud, so bear with me. So we'll sew a little bit. Oh, that's thick. We're gonna sew. And then I'm gonna hit the reverse button. This way it's gonna lock that stitch into place. And to all the professional sewers out there, yes, I know my machine sounds a mess. It is on its last leg. No cleaning or anything of that nature has helped it. So we're just gonna go ahead and widen that stitch just a little bit. Make that a little bit easier to sew. And we're just stitching around. And this is just a regular straight stitch. I hope you guys can hear me. This is just a regular straight stitch I'm doing. You can zigzag the stitch if you would like to. I'm not gonna do that. Just making sure I got it on my mark here. And as I go through this, I'm actually folding. You should never do your machine like I'm doing it, guys. I'm actually trying to talk and sew at the same time, and I'm gonna stop doing that. But as I go through on the curve, I'm kind of holding it up, and I'll do that as I sew around that middle fold every single time. I kind of curve as I'm sewing to make it easier and to go with the shape of the actual cover. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this sewn. I'm gonna keep you guys on camera for that, but I'm not gonna talk. I just wanna go ahead and get it done really quickly. and I'll stop and explain if I have to. Okay, when I come to my corners, now, as I told you guys earlier, my machine is a bit old. So it doesn't actually square my corners off the way it's supposed to. Hopefully this won't block, and I'm trying not to knock the camera down. Is that good? Oh, that's perfect. And I just want to pivot around to keeping my needle down, pivoted around so I can sew down the other side. And I'm going to do that, of course, around each side. Okay. You want to start your machine. You don't want to make it struggle the way I'm making my machine do. It's going to all come out in the wash, I promise. I'll go to about there, and I think that's the turning point. So I'll lift my foot, and then I'm gonna pivot again. Oh, did I knock the camera down? Hopefully not. All right, and yes, that's good. I normally don't hit the mark like that all the time. Lower the foot, help give my machine a start, because that's pretty thick there. All right, and then we're gonna sew down this side. When I get to the middle where the fold is, I'm going to actually sew with the curve. There we go. And then as we come to the end of this row, we'll do the same thing. We'll stop. And we'll pivot. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean when we get back over to the desk about how them, and I don't know if I have the tension wrong. And I've been sewing with this machine for years, and I've always, you know, pretty versed on how to set my machine. I have no idea what's going on with it. I've changed the needle, I've cleaned it. But, okay, so let's finish this up. Okay, so as I approach the end, what I do is I make sure that those strings from where I started that stitch is pulled out of the way, because I don't want to sew, or try my best not to sew any of that into the final. And I broke that thread. I didn't mean to do that. And now I'm actually going to just kind of walk my stitch up to where I want it to be. Once I get there, I'm going to hold down my reverse foot on my machine, and I'm going to let it sew backwards a couple of stitches and then come back to that beginning spot. And that is how I'll lock that stitch in. Now I got some string bunch, and I'll show you in just a second. Let me pull this off. We're going to cut this. And we're going to head back over to the desk, and I'll show you. This is what we have, guys. There it is. Fabric covered chipboard. Cardstock on the inside. It's been stitched around to adhere everything together to make sure that it doesn't fall apart on us. That beautiful sunflower, I was able to get that aimed pretty much in the middle. It's not too bad, actually. Now what I'm going to do is snip off the little strings here, or you can leave them if you want to. That's completely on you, but snip mine off. Wasn't the best sewing in the world. Look, that whole stitch almost came out this thing. It was that double string, the string that I got caught. I'll just try to snip that down. because I want to make it as neat as possible. And you guys see what I mean? By how that machine won't, for the inside stitch or the needle stitch, the top stitch, or it's at the bottom stitch. It won't, it doesn't exactly corner right. Not like it does on the opposite side. But it doesn't look bad at all. So there you go. There we have it. We have the, and this is pretty much the basis, guys. This is pretty much the basis for everything. That is the actual cover. From here, we're going to build everything about the journal. So next, what we're going to do is go ahead and finish up decorating the front of the cover. I'm just using those scissors. You use a bone folder if that's what you have. If scissors are what you have, or whatever, something that's going to give you, allow you to put pressure on that crease and just crease it down. And of course, I would also suggest maybe definitely putting this under something heavy and letting it sit for a couple of hours, maybe even overnight, to get it really flat and workable. I'm not going to do that though, of course. I'm going to keep moving so we can get done with this video. And I'm thinking I want to make a book plate out of this scrap muslin fabric that I have. I think it'll be pretty cool on here. I'm wondering, should I dye it? I'm just seeing how this is gonna look. Wait, I don't really want that covering the sunflowers though now, do I? Down there. Maybe no book plate. Didn't really think about that. Let's see, maybe a skinnier book plate. Like that. Okay, I could deal with that. Oh, I like that. Okay, so here. We need to make some type of book plate here. So, let me grab all the things together to get that done. Yeah, I told you we're doing this all from scratch. And then we'll do the book plate. At this point, I think we are working on the book plate, right? Book plate, yes, book plate. This is a little time later for me, I'll be honest. I gathered a few things that I wanted to use to complete the cover. The reason I chose this fabric is because I really liked the big sunflower, and I was able to get it centered on the journal cover, so I'm not gonna cover that. Normally I would collage or whatever, but this is, and then this shows you that if you have a really nice fabric, it's a really easy way to quickly decorate the cover. Now, I actually want, I have this little, I have these little offcuts in boxes, like script wording, book page words that have been cut out, things of that nature. I had this journal, so I'm going to use that. And this is just a little offcut piece of watercolor paper, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's like B Aqua or maybe that Aspire color paper. I'm not sure, but it's one of those budget papers. It's just a little square, and it happens to be big enough, a rectangle, and it happens to be big enough to, I want to put the book plate on the bottom because I feel like I'm just risking covering too much. Yeah, I just want to put it on the bottom. I think it'll be different. I like that. And then I grabbed, this is an old hairband holder. It's basically a big rubber band, but it's one of those that that's braided and sealed in, so it's actually kind of decent looking. I was thinking that it would help accent the black that's in the really deep crevices of the sunflower center there. So I was kind of thinking that I could use this as a closure. I'm not sure yet. I have some off-cut bits and pieces of jewelry that I could possibly use to accent this. We're gonna move quickly. I was looking at how much time we had already been working on this, and it was about 40 minutes. So I was like, okay, that's much more time than I really wanted to spend. So I'm just gonna kind of measure I want to wrap this just like I did the cover. So I'm just gonna measure and just get enough fabric hanging over the sides of it to wrap around. It doesn't really have to be neat. I'm gonna sew this as well. Now, I'm probably gonna sew this, but not on the camera, because I did show you guys how to sew the cover. And I'm gonna use the exact same method to sew this. The only difference is I'm not gonna put glue here on the front side, because I don't want any to seep through the fabric at all. The muslin is so thin. So I'm just gonna put it out on the back side where it is gonna be covered. So I just sit that down kind of centered, and I'm gonna grab my fabric tack, and I'm just gonna hit those corners just like we did with the cover. I'll go ahead and do all of those at once. I'll try to speed up just a little, and I'm gonna make sure they're centered. And I'm not really worried about whether or not there's any creases, because they'll pull out as we wrap it. So I'm just gonna see if I can get this all wrapped really quickly. Let's see here. Maybe a little bit too much fabric right in this area, but that's okay. It's gonna still work out fine. All right, so now let's see. It's gonna go down the sides, and I'm just gonna put it directly on the piece of watercolor paper, cardstock, whatever you may be using. Or maybe you're coming up with a completely different method to do your book plate, which is absolutely fine. You got the main thing. This wasn't it simple? That was so simple to do. And you have an entire cover for a journal of your choice. I think that's really easy. You can make a lot of those at once. You can just make one. They can be travel journals. You can make them as gifts. And I'm gonna show you guys some different variations of that journal once we get done with this one, which is another reason I'm trying to step up the pace here. Okay. Let's get that down. Let's get this side down here. Just wrap that our way around, and as you can see, I didn't cut any corners. I actually fold my corners in. I did the same thing. I like the wrap effect. So there we have that. Now, honestly, I could just put more glue on it, you know, and then just adhere it down without actually having to but I'm gonna sew it. It's a sewing journal. I'm gonna sew it. So basically, I'm gonna take it to my sewing machine, and I'm gonna start in the bottom corner. I'm gonna stitch all the way around, and then I'm gonna lock it here. Keeping in mind, remember I showed you guys we lock by simply reversing. So you'll hit the reverse, sew a few stitches, hit the reverse to lock it in, and then just continue to sew around till you get to the end. Once you get to the end, stop where you want, hit the reverse, lock it in, sew it on back out. All right, so I'm gonna go do that now, and then we'll finish up the book plate. So I've taken this to my machine and I've sewn all around. As you can see, that's what the front looks like. And that's what it looks like on the back, but we won't see that. Just so you guys can see how that's done. And you can make so many of these at a time. Just, you know, take your time out of a day, 15 minutes maybe, and just make a bunch of these. Wrap it with muslin, sew around it. Wrap it with muslin, sew around it. And you're making some really great, quick book plate templates, you know. All you have to do is decorate them. So for this one, I'm gonna be using this little journal word cutout, like I told you before, and I kind of want to center it there, right? And I was thinking, I was playing around with some jewelry the other day, some little offcuts of some jewelry I was pulling apart. So, I was thinking I wanted to use one of these little pieces here on that. I'm not sure how that's gonna look. Let's see. I like that. I like that. And remember I was saying we were gonna use this sort of like rubber band or a piece of elastic as the closing, because it was solid black and it was woven, and it's really nice, I mean, for what it is. So I was thinking that this bigger one, and these are some offcuts from some earrings that I broke down, or maybe it was a necklace. Yeah, no, this is from the earrings, because I made this little thing from the earrings. You know what? I'm gonna use that too. But this one is a little bit bigger, so I want to use that, I think, on the closure. Yeah, I think that's all gonna go nice and kind of pizzazz it up, maybe. I had some red too, but I don't think that would go. And then back here I had some, these are some medals, you know, the end of like medals from track and field events and sporting events, and I think they're beautiful. Of course, they probably wouldn't work on here's journal closures, but on other journals, I think they're gonna work out well as like constructing closures. Look at this one. I love this one. It's so beautiful to me. I don't know. I just like stuff like this. Here's the offcut of a earring that's going to eventually be a closure, maybe. And look, here is, I mean, I was telling you about the little words I cut out. I'm not sure why this one is in here, but yeah, there's one of just cut out phrases that I'll eventually tie together and make other things with. So I don't know. I just keep a lot of things. So let's see if we can finish up this cover. Then all we'll have to do is bind it, because since it's an art journal, I'm not going to put any ink in or anything. I may eventually put pockets on the inside of it, but it won't be in this video. Okay, so let's get this adhered down. This video was just to show you guys step by step how I actually sew a journal. Where are we? 3 minutes, I don't know. And again, I'm not inking anything on this journal. If you decide to follow this process in any shape, form, or fashion, of course, you're more than welcome to ink any of your decorations. Of course, that is completely your prerogative. But I'm not going to ink anything in this journal, because I may put it to market, and I want this to be one of the ones that, won't run the risk of getting any marks in it from ink. I'm just gonna get that down with what seems center to me. Okay. Oh, and I didn't say, but there was Fabrifix. I'm sure you guys saw that. There was Fabrifix that I used too. And I didn't really get my corners at all. So I have this smaller Fabrifix, or this little kind of like squeeze bottle. It's got Fabrifix in it. It's got a really fine needle nose on it. So I'm gonna use that to get up in. Get the little tab out the way. Let's get some down to the nozzle. I'm gonna go along the edge of that. I just don't trust it to stay down, and I don't plan on sewing around it. So I'm just gonna lift it and go in and just put a bead of, see. Now, if you catch Fabri-Tac right as it's drying, you can actually roll it off. But I want to get those corners down. I have to be sure. Let's do it on this end too. I won't even pull it back some purposely. just to get some more up in there. No journal fall apart. No journal fall apart. All right? So we're just gonna go in. There we go. It's probably gonna smoosh out. I'm trying to prevent it from doing it, so I'm just lightly pressing it into the glue until it has time to firm up a little bit. Then I'll go back and press it down. I think this side is pretty good. See what I was talking about, where you can just kind of roll it off, catch it at the right point. Right on. I'm gonna go ahead and press that down. All right. That should be better. Now you can sew around it. That would be cute. You know, stitch around that as well. If you wanted to. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, now we need to put on the little charm. I think that's cute. I like that. What do you guys think? Okay, I'm gonna do it. Stop thinking about it and do it. Now this is, it's pretty deep. All right, we're gonna have to kind of feel that well there. That's fine. We can be sure that it's gonna stick. Ooh, goody, that's a lot of glue. I'm just making sure to get it on everything. And I'm pretty sure I'm only gonna get one shot at getting this right, so let's go for it. Let's see. Think that's about centered. I have glue seeping, I need to be careful. All right. I think that's about as best as it's gonna get, so I'm gonna just press that down. Maybe I should, here, let's do this. I'm gonna take one of these and there. Let that, press that down against there. So I'll let that sit for a second and I'll move on to working on the closure. So for this one, I was thinking could double it up on the end here. I don't know. I think that'll be cute. And then somehow I'm gonna have to attach that. But first what I wanna do is, I want that, and I don't want that to be a knot. I want it to lay flat. So it would seem that I need to stitch that. I need needle and thread. Okay. So I grabbed a needle and I've threaded it. Right? This is just a regular threaded sewing needle for hand stitching. And I am going to stitch this together with just a couple stitches. Let's see, I might have to go through that single layer at a time. Oh, that's the glue part. I'd never get through that. There we go. Let's see. Sort of gone this way. And I'm trying to make it thick enough to have some back and forth. Okay. To have some back and forth the pendant. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm just gonna work that on through. Okay. And honestly, at this point, I'm gonna wrap it because I want to make sure that it's secure. I know this may seem weird, guys, but you're gonna, I'm making this on the fly. I really, really am. I did not think about this closure beforehand. So I am honestly coming up with this on the spot. You guys are getting a close behind the scenes look at how I come up with things. Now, of course, this would be an idea that I would have already developed and would have several of them made by the time that I was doing a video on it. Okay, I think I wrapped that enough. So now I'm gonna sew through the side here. I wanna lock that in, okay? And I'll take my fabric scissors and I'll cut that thread to release my needle, which I then need to stick here so I do not lose it. Okay. And now I am going to tie, if I can possibly manage it, these threads into a knot, which I think I can. That's one. I just need to get it through one more time. And that, my friends, is two. I'm pretty comfortable with that. I'm gonna snip those extra threads down to my knot. I'm not really worried about that unraveling because we are about to put glue on it. Okay. Don't get that part. That's okay. I think when it's all said and done, we're gonna be good. I'm gonna just look on the fly, right? I'm sure this will hold. That's the only reason I'm doing it. All right. Let's give that a few seconds. All right, and then we're going to be on this side out. Okay, let's just test it here. Yeah, I gotta get it time to dry, but okay, that there. I think that's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. Okay, let's get it all glued together and clamped so it can dry. And yes, we're gonna have to give everything time to dry before we can move forward. Detailed process, right? So I'm gonna actually glue it to this side. We're putting, and I'm actually gonna put a lot of fabric fix on that. Okay, and then I wanna put fabric fix at the top here and on the bottom here because I'm hoping that that's gonna catch. All right, now let's try to put this together, clamp it together, and see if it's gonna hold to form what is in my mind. Gonna put that there in the middle. That goes there, goes there. Okay, now how we're gonna hold this together? Maybe with the same type of clamp. Let me get a bigger one. Let's see. I have a bigger one. Let me see if I can get this positioned exactly like I want it. Okay, like that. Can you guys see? I don't know if y'all can see. I'm so sorry if I'm off. And I want to get that glue off quick. Okay, now I'm gonna clamp this in the middle of here. Oop. Let's see. I'm trying. It doesn't want to hold. That's for sure. Let's do it. Maybe the top will hold already. God, how far am I? Know I am taking up way too much of you guys' time with this. Let's see, maybe a smaller clamp or there. Okay. I'm gonna let that sit along with the book plate. And once all this is dry, we'll come back and put all of that together. We'll bind this book and then we will be done. I won't do anything else. I'm just making sure before I'm talking all that noise. Okay. I did want to use this, right? So I think I want to put this here in the corner. Let's go ahead and do that. I need an awl. I have one here because I don't want to put a big hole. Just a hole big enough to get it through. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to go right. I don't know, that might be, I'm going to go on the top right there. And yeah, I'm going through the spine. Can you guys see that? I want to make sure you can. And I'm working it through the top. And you'll see that all come out the other side. And I'm going to stop. I don't want it to be too big. And then I'll go back through just to make sure. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my little I don't know what it is I made, little tassel. And I'll open the jump ring on it. Let's see. I don't have two of these at the moment. I have no idea where my other one is. So I'm gonna have to give this a little muscle to get it open. Especially wide enough to get around the cover. Let's see if I'm gonna be able to pull this off. I'm gonna grab my scissors to assist. I do not know where my other needle nose pliers are. This is not the safest thing, but it's gonna work. All right. I want to attach that through that hole. And see. There we go. It's like a piercing. All right, now let me check this and see if this is tidy. I'm not sure if I like the way that made the top of that look. Okay. I can live with that. All right, so what we're gonna do is we are going to close this jump ring up. And pinch it together. Now I wanna pinch it together without smushing it or making the prongs overlap. So I'm just taking my time and doing it slowly. There we go. And let's see. I'm gonna adjust it just a little bit. There we go. That's more better. That's better. All right, so, and now we have that little cute tassel hanging off the side. So that's gonna go there. That's gonna be like that. And yeah, we'll come back and put on, well, this fabric fix, so it may be dry. Let's see where they are. Here. I think that's gonna be good. That's dry. We can go ahead and finish this up. We're gonna put that here. So let's fabric fix again. Yeah, this is the gluing part. I'm not gonna do any more sewing until I put signatures in, if I decide or do decoration to the inside covers. I'm just gonna cover that because I want to make sure that it's down for the count. It's gonna go the long haul. So get a lot. Make sure you glue it well. All right. Figure out where I want to put this. Say about right there. I'm gonna drop that. Make sure it's on angle for me. Yeah, I like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and just smush that on down. Push it on down, and hold it and give it time. And I'm gonna put this under something to let it, there we go. Let's get that on. Okay, so I'm gonna put this under something. I have to put it under something for a few minutes to let it. I think this might be ready as well. Let's give it a whirl. Yeah, looks like we're good. And this is going to be the closure. Go like so. I think that's cute. And there we have a sewn journal cover. All you have to do is bind it. You bind it with whatever you choose to bind it with. Yep. Now I am going to, didn't really account for that stretching like that, but that's okay. All right. Yeah. What do you guys think? Hit the comment section, let me know. We'll bind it really quick because we really could be done here. I'm just gonna show you guys how I bound the other ones. This one I did not bind. We did not get to binding it, but I'm just gonna show you. And then hopefully you'll be able to pick up on some different ideas, and you'll be able to see how you can take one idea and use that formula to create over and over again, just by kind of switching up the material some. So keep in mind, this is the one that we made today on the video. That's our closure. It is covered with a placemat. We just added some little embellishments, a little book plate, kind of non-traditional. No corners on the book plate or anything, but I think it's very fitting for what we did. That's gonna be the inside. Now, there aren't any pockets or anything of that nature. Just a straightforward journal. I'm gonna bind it with some student grade watercolor paper, the Canson XL, and it'll just be a journal. I'll probably be listing that on the Etsy shop in case anybody is gonna be interested in it. It's nice one. Now, here are some variations. This particular one is made from, what is this made from? This is made from a pillowcase, if I'm not mistaken. Both of the burgundy ones are. I made these a little while ago. The closures are just simple strips of muslin that have been dyed with black watercolor, actually. They're attached to the back of them. And I didn't do any embellishments on these at all. I just let the fabrics speak for themselves. Now, these have been bound with signatures, and the signatures do have a signature cover, which is why you see this. I thought that was a beautiful little sticker, you know. So whoever gets this can embellish it however they want. And this one, could be sketchbook, because this is drawing paper, writing paper. It could be a writing journal. It could be a junk journal. You could use the pages to create whatever you want. But just a beautiful little base to work with so that whoever decides to do the creating can create whatever they would like to. And again, those just have the simple wraparound knotted closure on them. I thought it was really simple but quite effective for them. And I'm gonna worry about getting those knots back in place later. And here's a different variation. This one is made from a pillowcase from the same set that the one we just looked at came from. The difference is this one was solid, so we did Actually embellished this with a little book plate, little book cover on the front. Kind words are free. It was actually just a little journaling card inside of a pattern paper pack. It's pretty simple. Again, muslin on the back. Opens up. Beautiful. I love the stickers. I love those stickers. I love that book that they came out of. And again, it's bound with all different types of paper. So you can make it a sketching journal, a junk journal. There aren't any like water-soluble pages in it, so I wouldn't necessarily call it an art journal, but it'll definitely serve as a junk journal or a sketchbook. Travel sketchbooks, they would be nice for travel sketchbooks to do your plein air drawings and sketching. Color pencils, watercolor pencils would be nice in it. Here's a different variation. Again, same formula over and over, just use different materials. Now again, another one of those what am I trying to say, journaling cards from a pattern pack. And as you can see, I've just stitched around before adhering it down. Now this fabric that's covering this is actually printable fabric. So I took that printable fabric and did watercolor dyeing and splattering. I think it was tea dye or coffee dye as well. And then I adhered a piece of pattern paper to the back of this one just to give it a little difference. As you can see, it's stitched and sewn. So this is how I do my, you know, just straightforward sewn journals. Now I do have much more complicated sewn journals, but the ones that I wanted to share with you today, I just wanted them to be kind of straightforward so that anybody can create it if they wanted to. So yeah, stitching. And all of them are bound with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. If you do not know how to do that, I will link a video in the this video description where I was binding a journal and doing the 3-hole pamphlet stitch detail step by step so that you can get that. You can bind it with staples. You can do the no-sew type binding, but I did want to do these with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch since all of these are sewn journals. I wanted to sew the signatures in as well. Now this is the last one that I'm showing that's going to actually go up on the Etsy shop. The last two that I'm going to show you are actually my personal art and junk journal. So you can just take a look at the ones I made myself using the same technique. Now here we have, again, another piece of pattern paper that has been sewn around and adhered down to that printable fabric. Again, I just did my own splattering and watercolor dyeing and things of that nature on it. It's been sewn around just like the rest of them. This one has a white covering on the inside. Signature, bound with the same type of papers. This one has tea dyed, coffee dyed, stained yellow papers in it. So just a different variation, just different variations of the same formula. Now, all of those, including the one we made on video today, will be listed on the Etsy shop in the next day. So you can look for them really soon. Or they may be up now at the point that this video go out, I'm not sure. But they will definitely be up soon. Now this is my own personal art journal, which again was made with the exact same formula. Just gonna show you this one. And you guys may have seen this in the video from when we did the whimsical ice cream cone. So here, I didn't cover this one with fabric, so, but it's the same formula, same concept. So we have the base, and then I just used pattern paper instead of fabric, which has been sewn around. You can see all of the stitching. It's got 2 rows of stitching that actually goes through the journal, right? And then there is the stitching that is on the backing paper, the stitching that's on the book page, and then the stitching that's on the focal image after it was askew just a little bit. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers of stitching only 2 of them actually come through the journal cover. The other layers are on the individual pieces that have then been glued down with Fabric Fix. So that's how that was created. The inside is just watercolor paper, actually, instead of cardstock. And then I stamped it with some different images. I haven't done anything to, again, this is an art journal, so I didn't want to do too much inking. And it's got some matching pockets here. I haven't done, I'm starting this upside down tuck pocket there, and then journal pages. The very back of it is pocket here. Let's see, in the middle signature, there is an envelope for me to stick reference photos or stickers or whatever I'm going to be using there. I haven't done anything to that side. I'm probably just going to attach some bookmarks or something that I paint or that I do. Here is, this is bound with Fabriana Studio. And there is the whimsical cone that we did. So I have started working in this journal. Just show you that one. And this one isn't glued to the back. That closure for this one is removable. And then lastly, I'll show you my personal junk journal, which I haven't started working in much. But here it is. You guys may have seen this before. I think I did show this in a video a couple of months back. Same concept. This is pattern paper. As you can see, it's stitched around and sewn here, which does go through to the inside. As you can see here, got that zigzag stitch, and that was used to create the pockets on the front and the back cover here. Same stitching, right? And then it has this book plate that I created that wraps around. Now that doesn't have stitching, it is just adhered down. Here we have craft yarn for the closure, some beads from a necklace to make the closure. That's just a brad, and that brad goes through the book plate, so to speak, instead of going through the cover, so you won't see it on this side. It's been bound 3-hole pamphlet stitch style with all types of papers, and as you can see, I've started to work and write in it already. But I'm gonna start doing some journal with me videos, and this will be the journal that we'll be working and creating in. So, and the closure just simply wraps around this one like so, and tucks in the front, and that's how you close that one. So there you have it, guys. I need to put that back in this journal. There are several different variations of the sewn cover that we created today. And as you can see, you can bind it with any type of paper to turn it into any type of journal that you choose. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully you found some tips, tricks, and techniques throughout this video that you're gonna find helpful. If you liked anything that you saw at all, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Share the video. Remember that sharing is caring. Maybe someone else out there wants to know this information or needs to know it. Hit us up on all the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And keep in mind, we do have the Thrifty Apprentice sponsor Facebook group, Paints, Pencils, Pastels, and Markers, where we do all things artsy and crafty. All of the journals that are going to be available will be listed on the Etsy shop. There will be a link in the video description in case anyone is interested. But hopefully what you got most from this is how you can create at home by using things that you have already around your house, your craft room, or your studio in order to put off some really beautiful effects and really beautiful things. With that being said, guys, I hope everyone has a wonderful Sunday. Just keep painting and crafting.